Well, hello and welcome from Cardiff Castle, right in the middle of the Welsh capital. Right, some castle snobs say Cardiff Castle isn't a real castle. Just look at it. It's a romanticised version of a European castle. But they're right about that bit. That bit is Victorian. But there's been fortifications on this site for nearly 2,000 years, starting with the Romans in AD 55, and they stuck around until the 4th century. And during that time, they built 4 fortresses on the site. Then the Normans turned up in the 11th century, our old friends the Normans, and they saw the ruins of the Romans, so this is a good place to build a castle. And the remains of their castle you can still see today inside. By the way, those prices were to enter the castle buildings. It is free just to enter the grounds. So if you want to just walk in, have a look around, see the Norman Keep, all that's free. But if you want to tour the Victorian part, the fancy part, which I highly recommend, you do have to pay. So one of the reasons for doing this video is to show you how beautiful and how interesting Wales is. When we were on our last cruise, there were a lot of Americans and other tourists, and they were spending an extra week or 2 after the cruise to visit the rest of the country. They were going to Scotland, Ireland, north of England, but not many, if any, were coming to Wales. And Wales is only 2 hours by train from London. And this is what you're missing. Just one of the many castles in Wales. So if you remember your castles at school, that is a classic Motte and Bailey structure. Motte being the hill and it's the Bailey being the enclosure around it. And that structure on top, the keep, the stone keep, that was probably built in the 12th century by Robert of Gloucester. Well, Cardiff Castle was in the possession of the Herbert family from about 1550 to 1776. And despite sustaining some damage during the Civil War, it was essentially ignored by Oliver Cromwell. In 1776, the last Herbert heir, Charlotte Jane, passed the estate to her husband, John Lord Mountstuart, who rose to become the Marquess of Bute. In 1814, Bute's grandson, John, inherited his title and the castle. And in 1825, the new Marquess began a sequence of investments in Cardiff docks, and Cardiff became a major coal exporting port. But it wasn't until John, the 3rd Marquess of Bute, who really changed the castle. And those changes and his unique additions are what we're going to see very soon. Well, the young Marquess of Bute engaged the services of architect William Burges, and they both shared a passion for Gothic Revival. And those over-the-top unique designs are what we're going to see once we get inside those buildings. Just quickly, before I go in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we now have a Patreon. So if you want to see more of us, yes, more of us, the link is below. So click on this. Appreciated. Anyway, I think we waited enough. Let's go inside. I'm just about to go into the first room, the Arab room. Have a look at this. you can't really call it understated. Well, you couldn't say any of that interior design was understated, could you? That was the work of the third Marquess of Bute and William Burges. And if you want to see more of their work, go to Castle Coch, just up the road. I've got a video on that, I'll link that below. So after that overdose of Gothic Revival, let's go to an original part of the castle, the Norman Keep up there. So that was the Norman Keep. But before I go, I think there's more to see. During the war, World War II, they used the tunnels under the castle, the old medieval tunnels, as bomb shelters. And I think some of those are open to the public. Let's go and see. So at the moment, I'm in the basement at the front of the castle, and they've got a depiction of Roman chariots, because behind me is the old Roman wall.
Here is the midnight view, and this is our WWII. After 10 o'clock, 175 German aircraft will be destroyed in today's race over the country. Today was the most costly of the German Air Force for any other. In daylight race, between 350 and 400 enemy aircraft went off.
So I'm in the walls at the moment. Not underground, actually in the walls. And it's really creepy when no one's around. Even though it's a Sunday afternoon and it's quite busy in the castle, you get times when there's no one around. It's quite atmospheric. So that was Cardiff Castle, well worth a visit. But if you want to see more of Wales or learn more about Cardiff, I've got some videos coming up next, and I'll see you in one of those. Bye.